Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. You are watching The German in New Mexico. Today you are joining me for a little hike up the mesa just behind Grants, New Mexico. And first I had to walk up my street, then I had to cross the New Mexico State campus and walk through their parking lot. And all in all, it's maybe less than a mile to get to where the hike starts from my house. So I have made it past NMSU, first hazy views on Mount Taylor, and we can look up the mesa a little bit, unobstructed. So we're looking up the mesa and we are going to go all the way up there following the power line. Our destination is right there. First fence to cross. You can see there's a gate and it's chained and locked. Hikers are welcome, pedestrians at least. Now just a few steps on the trail essentially. You don't have to go very far to have really great views of Mount Taylor, of Grants, the surrounding area. It's very beautiful. Another fence coming up with a gate. This time there was no step. There was this little H-shaped gate, if you want to call it that. Leave your guesses in the comments below if you think I went under or over. Past the second fence. Now you can see the trail looks like it's just going straight up the mesa, but you'll see in a second that there's a lot more going on than just a straight shot. Going up the mesa, along the power line, you also find these warning signs for a gas pipeline, which is buried just underneath the trail. So we're coming up to the first of those bigger dips in the trail, and those look like they're probably arroyos, where the water comes down when it rains. You can see on this elevation profile I marked the first somewhat deeper dip in the trail that we just walked through, and then the second rectangle is a steeper bit you'll see in a minute, and then the rectangle at the top is the last maybe few hundred feet to get to the top of the mesa. So here's the really steep bit, and it doesn't look like people really go up that way. But to the right of it, there is something, it looks almost like a mountain bike downhill trail, and that's the way I went. And it turned out to be real nice, no problem whatsoever, a little washed out right there, but then the trail connects just right after it. A little further up the trail, I came upon this crack or washed out bit in the ground, and you could actually see the gas pipeline sticking out there. People leave these rock cairns on the side of trails oftentimes, and it's really nice. Mostly it's used to mark the trail. It's not needed in this case, the trail is pretty easy and straightforward, but say you're hiking over the Malpais, the lava landscapes, those cairns can really help you find your way around. So now we're almost up all the way to the mesa. So here we're coming up to the last bit to get to the top. And you can see there's a little 2-track, or like a 4-wheeler track that goes straight to it, or at least it looks like it. Right before the last bit up the mesa, the 2-track actually curves around and it curves towards another break in the rock. So that's the way I'll come down. But first, I have to climb this last bit here. Here we are at the top of the mesa. I'm coming right up to it. Beautiful views all around. This is a fun little hike. Wonderful views on Mount Taylor, Horace Mesa, Grants. You can see all the way to the Acoma Pueblo. You can see Mesa Negra in the back. You can see all the way down to the Malpais. And then Zuni Mountains coming into view. And you can see all the way to Mount Sedgwick and even further west and north. So I was using this moment to take a sip of water from my water bladder that I usually carry with me on these hikes. But I also wanted to show you a nice panorama of the area. And I also wanted to use my selfie stick for the first time. And I also wanted to show you the gear I usually hike in. So you can see I'm wearing a long sleeve, which is always recommended for hikes around here. This one has a hood, and I'm holding it down with my hat. Sunglasses, of course. I'm wearing my trusty German army backpack. It's been with me for a long time. And I'm also wearing my German army pants. I got lots of pockets. And I'm wearing my US Air Force boots to complement the outfit. It's a beautiful spot up there. You can hike up, sit on the bench, enjoy your snack, rest for a bit, go back down. View on Mount Taylor from the top, very beautiful. Pretty hazy day. I'm not sure if it was rain or smoke that was shrouding Mount Taylor, but it was pretty windy, lots of clouds, so I thought it might rain, but luckily it didn't, at least not when I was up on the mountain. I took a selfie, of course, I'm a professional. So for the way down, I chose to go down the other break in the mesa, and to get there, I followed this little 2-track road that goes there. Another fence, but again, it's open, so I could go through and go on a very rocky and steep descent. So made it down to the bottom, or at least off the mesa, and I noticed something, some old rusted metal, and of course curiosity kills the cat, so I had to go and check it out. I know that there is oftentimes rattlesnakes hanging out in these kinds of items or underneath rocks, so I didn't get too close, but I still wanted to get a good look and check it out. There were a few other bits of metal scattered around. If you have any idea what this is, please leave it in the comments. I saw a rock outcropping, so I had to climb it and see what the views were like. Always looking for Radley boys. They like these shady rock crevices a lot. But the view was worth it. More rock piles marking the trail. Another big one this time. And then you can see the trail just goes on. It's pretty washed out in some parts. When it rains really hard around this area, you can see the water coming off the mesas in little waterfalls. There is this pipe coming off the mesa, and I didn't quite get a good enough shot with my camera, so I used my phone. And you can see it's coming off the mesa and then going down the hill, so maybe it's water or something else, I'm not quite sure. More rock piles, smaller ones this time, just marking the trail. Going back down, I came across that exposed gas pipeline again. And boy, let me tell you, that's a thick pipe. And it's not even buried that deep underneath, so I can totally see that heavy rain will wash it out and expose it. Something else I hadn't seen before. This looks like a little bit of a testing access. If you know what this is, just leave me a comment. Going down, I went past these really deep ruts. So I'd be really curious to see what it looks like when it really rains out here. It's probably dangerous, but it's probably very pretty. Alright, made my way all the way down, and before I went back to pavement, I got yelled at by some crows who were just hanging out. Back on pavement, and I had maybe a little less than a mile left to go to get back home for some stretches, a shower, food. This was a really cool, fun, not super strenuous kind of hike. I think I will do this one maybe once a week, a couple of times a month maybe, as a little after work exercise. So please let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of format. I would love to go on more hikes and record them. Please like and subscribe and share my channel with all your contacts. My website, some other bits and pieces are linked in the description below. Thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate your interest and your time. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, questions, or if there's anything else you would like to see. But for now, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.